Before and after, we're going to look at 3 updates to visual identities, and I want you to let us know down in the comments what you think of these rebrands. The first one is the Football Club of Venice in Italy, and these guys are known as the world's coolest football club, and you can see why. I mean, these are the shoots for their kit. I mean, this isn't just kind of like the players stood in the centre of the stadium like a lot of clubs used to do. This is fashion models, it's the locations of Venice, beautifully shot. But you might be able to see with the crest here, we have just the lion isolated with this VFC, and then the full roundel crest that was on the shirt. And that's what they've updated. Now, overall, we had this very stylish design, you know, black and gold, and the texture is very premium kind of feel, which suits Venice. But let's just get a feel of this brand. It's incredible from the Instagram. Look, they do these partnerships with fashion brands, super cool, like Max and Brolly's. And this just shows how design is so powerful and how it can elevate something, and how you don't need to fall into the same tropes of, you know, what a football club, what a sports team should look like. But you can specialize it to your location, and you can elevate the offer. And they've ended up selling a lot of merch. Look at this. They do collabs with like swimwear brands and this kind of thing. This is nuts. I can't imagine Grimsby Town doing this, even though that's by the coast. No offense to any Grimsby Town supporters watching. And this is just incredibly stylish. And this is the before badge, this roundel that we saw on one of the jerseys. We have the lion, the winged lion in the centre, and the colours of the team, the orange, black and green. But I think you'll agree that this doesn't quite fit the stylish, fashionable, refined, elegant kind of photography and the partnerships that they're doing and the overall brand. So this crest needed updating, and that's exactly what they've done. The Bureau Bosch from Germany, who recently did the Inter Milan rebrand, and here is the new emblem, the new crest, the new badge for Venezia FC. How do you say that, Italians? Give me some tips down in the comments, and let's have a little look at the before and after. So we've moved from something which is kind of what you would expect for a sports team to this modern emblem where the lion is integrated into the V letter form. The colours are still present, but it brings through the gold, as the gold and black is something that you're using throughout their brand identity. And it's a much more modern, more iconic mark that really fits what they're trying to do with the overall branding. And I really, really dig this. And you can see also with the update to the website, this is their homepage. I mean, if you go to a sports team's homepage, this is not what you expect to see. Like, so stylish, the art direction of the photography, you know, you've got this shot of Venice which really orients you where you should be, but they're keeping it really simple. Yes, you can get into the men's and women's teams straight from here, the shop and the news about the brand identity, because this is a later story. But, you know, within the menu, you can quickly get to, you know, the standings, the results, the things you might want to see. But overall, it shows you don't need to fall into those tropes, again, about what a sports team's supposed to be. And I love this. And you have a look at the shop. Super stylish. This is the new shirt for the new season. Again, they've done another campaign for this. And if we just kind of look at can we look at everything, all products, you can see that right the way through with this, they've designed this pre-match shirt as part of the launch of the new brand identity. There's just this consistency of style and design and using these colours, and it's really reinforced. And whilst they already had that, this new mark really helps them because they have a logo which just fits with everything that goes there. So I wasn't sure about the Inter Milan rebrand. I felt like they had such an iconic crest. It's strange to move away from it. Maybe could have benefited from a tweak. But with this one, the studio have done a fantastic job. I mean, what sort of football club does, you know, a photography book, you know, kind of a lookbook? This one. I love this. So very, very nice work here, and credit to what they're doing in Venice. The next project we're going to look at is for the Smithsonian Institution, of the National Air and Space Museum, which is a very long title. So this National Air and Space Museum in the United States is part of this Smithsonian group. So there are a number of museums, if you're not familiar, that are under this banner, and they all have this sun symbol and this type, which looks like Garamond here. And it's very elegant, very museum-like. But this particular museum, the Air and Space Museum, have updated their logo and have moved away from the overall Smithsonian branding. And there's an article on their site about their new brand identity. You can see the symbol here on the red background. Let's have a look at this whole lockup a little bit larger. So what do we have? We have this new symbol where there is an airplane and a shuttle combined, moving across this circle. I guess it's the sun. Could be another planet or a moon, I guess. And then the full name is presented larger this time. National Air and Space Museum, and Smithsonian appears underneath. Now, I've seen a few different lockup versions of this. Let's just have a look at this before and after. This doesn't have Smithsonian on the bottom now, the new version at the bottom, because I mean that is, if we go back, it's a lot of words, isn't it? And as it was before, and they used the previous lockup in different combinations. You can see on the top right there's this centered stacked version, which doesn't look too elegant to me, but I like the version on the sign. I think it's elegant. It's the kind of thing you expect to see at human scale near to the doorway, but I can appreciate how on the side of a building that wouldn't be very clear to read. So what they've done is they've made the words air and space the largest and the boldest, so it's very clear what it's about. So I understand that. I also understand that they've moved to create their own unique symbol, which is a really useful thing for social media, in your avatars, and appearing in the corner of things and just giving an identifying mark which can be used across merchandise and things like that. But overall, I think this lacks a bit of elegance. It doesn't have the sense of gravitas that the previous version used. I just think that this symbol looks a little bit stock. It looks like something you find on a stock logo site. Type in airplane. It's a bit harsh maybe, sorry, but it just doesn't feel to me like it's got the required iconic feel. It doesn't feel elegant enough, and I feel like this could have been finessed to produce something stronger. The same with the type. I don't like how this is typeset. This typeface looks like DIN to me, and I've nothing against DIN, it's a cool font, but in this instance I feel that it lacks elegance and it just looks too basic. And what happens here with the way they've locked this up is the word and becomes the largest thing in the center of the lockup, and we don't want a word like and. You see, the way it's typeset in the old logo, and is the only word that starts with a lowercase character, or because this is set in title case, so it is moved into the background, whereas here and is bold and in the center, and it's the biggest thing with air and space. So I feel like there could have been a different way of typesetting that to make sure that and didn't take up that emphasis, and you could quickly see the words air and space and read it. And the way that they've got these two weights, and then National Museum, just they look like they're tracked wider. They might not be, but because they're a lighter weight than air and space. So two point sizes, two weights, and being long, the symbol not being finessed, it just, I can see what they're trying to do by making air and space the most prominent thing and introducing a unique symbol and giving themselves an identity away from Smithsonian, so you can tick the boxes, but I don't feel it's the most elegant solution. And they maybe could have chosen a condensed font, which is a clever solution to save space in a long name, but they could have chosen one that had a little bit more personality, a little bit more craft to it, perhaps. And this falls a little bit flat, really, and I feel like using a top design studio or Illustrator could have finessed this a little bit more. Finally today, we're going to look at Sprite, which is the Coca-Cola company's fizzy lemon and lime drink, which everybody knows Sprite. across the world, and it's very green. And they have gone through a rebrand, and it's worth looking at a little bit of their logo history. And they started off in 1961, according to this. And look at this first logo. You can see there's a little bit of a shape, kind of like a starburst kind of shape above the eye, but also this containing shape as well for this emblem that was there originally. And then as this thing, evolves, they had the red circle, which, now is kind of owned by 7-Up in that space. Then they introduced the lemon, and the lemon continues. Some drop shadows in the 90s. Yes, come on, 90s design. And that's kind of back now, isn't it? Anti-design, that's so bad it's good. And you can see these sort of evolutions, this sort of S lock-up and this kind of thing. None of this is really floating my boat. And then this kind of border, this starburst thing comes back, which is from the original logo with the lemon. Then they get rid of the lemon in 2015, updated and redrawn a little bit really, just in 2019, added the tittle back on the eye, the dot on the eye. And now in 2022, we have removed the border once again. So there's a before and after here that's a little bit clearer on the brand new blog, and there's a really good review of this over there. This has kind of been covered everywhere, this rebrand, because it's a high profile one. So the differences here, as well as removing this border, the word mark is now upright. I believe this is on a horizontal baseline, whereas it was kind of angled before. It looks like it is just about. And they've just finessed some of these characters. We've still got these strokes on the P and the E that taper. And what's the difference is, the main difference is this tittle, the dot on top of the I, has been dropped down, and it's created this little circle cutout where from the R going down to the I and the T. And I think that's an interesting idea there. They've definitely tried to customize this word mark so it retains the look of Sprite, but it has some personality to it. It has something that make it distinctive. I think they've achieved that, but I do think there's some finessing around the way this dot just sits there. Something to me feels like it's not quite right. Have a stare at it for yourself and let us know what you think. And let's see how they've continued to update this. So this is the new bottle. This is the photography studio that's shot it. Turner Duckworth, who kind of led this rebrand with the in-house Coca-Cola team, don't have a case study up yet, so we're relying on these other blogs. But I've actually got one of the current bottles here that I just ran out and grabbed from the supermarket. Let's get it in focus. So that's what the bottle looks like today. And then if we cut back across to the shot on screen, that is the new bottle. So you can see they're kind of simplifying it. Will it retain all this simplicity when it actually makes it to shelves and they have to put all the caloric information on it and that? Hopefully. But yeah, this word mark is now upright and it's simplified. And if you look across the Coca-Cola range, they've actually done this whole move, and we can see this a little bit more on the Die Line, which is a packaging blog. We'll link to all these in the description of this video. You can see with the cans and the bottles, they've moved the word mark up to this higher point, and they've placed it horizontally. Traditionally with things that are vertical, like bottles and cans, with like Coca-Cola, you would have the type turned at 90 degrees. So, you kind of have to turn the can, the bottle on its side to read it. But they've gone back to this sort of horizontal style now, and sitting them all at that height. So it's more consistent across the group now, the family of products with Coke and Fanta and such. And apparently this appeals to Gen Z consumers. So young people, if you're watching this video, let us know what you think about that. So the zero is in black. The regular is in white, and I think they've done a good job overall with simplifying the packaging and the word mark. But some of these applications I'm not sure about. I don't really get these posters or where they would fit or what they really do or achieve. But the packaging has been done very smartly, and they have simplified it. They've brought some elegance to it. and it just looks like it fits in a lot more contemporary way, rather than having all these unnecessary sort of flourishes on packaging that start to look a little bit busy and dated nowadays. Now, on top of the bottle, you'll see they've brought back this symbol, which was the border before, and I think a little bit more on the last blog. It shows some examples of this. Yeah, here it is, the spark or the starburst. So they're trying to use this thing on its own, but if you look at this image here by itself, to me, that just really lacks some distinctiveness. It just looks like a kind of a little label background that somebody would put sale, special offer, or some kind of type over the top on a discount store. And I don't really feel it talks about standing on its own, and some people have commented on that here, but I don't really feel this is distinctive by itself. It's one thing looking at it in this context, but I don't really get why it needs to be kept or carried over. But you tell us what you think. I think it's a bit strange. It's a bit unnecessary. It's maybe not distinctive enough by itself. But again, these applications are a little bit strange. It obviously trying to make it look more youthful, more kind of in towards a fashion brand, and it's okay, but I don't really see how this is distinctive or represents an identity or something very Sprite, or what they're going to do with it. But this is certainly a lot more elegant than where their Instagram and their website is at the moment. I mean, if we look at this website panel here, that's been mocked up, and then we go to the current website where the logo's still not been updated, but then we kind of have the new bottle here, so they need to catch up with that. It definitely lacks the elegance of this new identity, so definitely giving them top marks for the packaging. But I think with the application and the rollout, the proof's going to be in the pudding, and with such a big brand, that's going to be difficult to do. So let us know about these 3 projects. Let's have a quick look again at the before and afters. Here we have the Venice Football Club, and then we've got the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum, and on brand new, the Sprite, the new packaging, and let's find at the top, the new wordmark. Let us know down in the comments what you think before and after. We'll talk to you soon, and until next time, happy designing.